First off, sorry I'm not in my normal location with my great backdrop and sound, but I'm on location filming a great guys movie. But I'm not going to leave you hanging for the next movie on the list. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Nothing gets me more fired up than a juiced up Australian trying to do something of a Spanish accent while beating the living tar out of the most obvious social justice warrior villain of all time. Gladiator won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2000, but what's more impressive is that it comes in at number 2 for the Rebel Masculine Movie Countdown. Let's go. This movie is the perfect epic showing the difference between earning and being entitled. And this is shown by one of the greatest dudes of all time, Maximus, and the eternal soy boy that is Commodus in the movie. Now this just really is an epic movie. I mean, it is the best picture. Ridley Scott directed the mess out of it. Hans Zimmer has a score that literally makes your heart pound out of its chest. And there are some absolutely fantastic performances from start to finish. And all that is absolutely deserving of praise. But that is not the only reason that this movie, after watching it, makes you want to go burn every copy of Star Wars The Last Jedi. It is also because who Maximus is as a man, how he treats his fellow brothers, how he orients himself in the world by way of his principles, and his epic showdown with the ultimate male feminist Commodus played by Joaquin Phoenix. First, let's look at Maximus, how he treats his fellow man. He earns their respect. It is not just by having one of the greatest masculine names of all time in a movie, Maximus. No, he becomes the man that all of his brothers would fight and die for, who would literally follow him into hell if he asked him to. What is so fascinating in this movie, the way they show Maximus and the way he earns that respect, is exactly the way George Washington actually lived his life. Washington is arguably one of the greatest leaders in the past 500 years, but why? Is it because of his stature, the political cunning, or lavish living? No. He was on the front line. He led the charges. And he forgoed his living quarters to sleep with his troops in the trenches. He was one of them. He didn't put himself above them. They elevated him to that position. Maximus does the exact same thing. He's with each individual man on the field. He leads the charges. He earns their respect. He does not demand it. Commodus, on the other hand, demands respect under penalty of law. He manipulates people. Why does he do this? Because he feels entitled to it. Because he's a king. It's not his fault he's not as brave as everyone else. Who are they to lecture him? He's above them. Basically, Commodus just sucks. And another reason why Gladiator is such an awesome movie and the lead character Maximus is so great is because of the principles he follows. Maximus is not motivated by greed or power or whatever. He just wants to live a life as a free man with his family. He serves his country to ensure that his family will have that freedom and they can have that life together. So much so that in this movie, Maximus actually turns down at first to be Caesar, to lead the entire Rome because he just wants to go back to his family. Now obviously that's a made up story. That'd be a really hard thing to turn down, but if you look at George Washington, that actually happened. In fact, when King George, George Washington's actual enemy, heard that Washington was going to forgo the kingdom basically and just go stay with his wife and just live a normal life working the land, King George actually said if he does that, then he is the greatest man in the world. And Washington did turn down being the president, went back home before he was drugged back by the people because they wanted him to lead them. And this speaks so true to the most noble examples of men who lead. The guys that would forgo power for the greater good. This is so rare and embodied by these two great characters. And this characteristic is so good for a leader. That is why Maximus is chosen, because he does not care about the politics. He's not corruptible because of what the government has done now in Rome, being powerful over the people. He would give the power back to the people. That is the whole goal of Gladiator, to give the power to the people and not to these crazy bureaucratic politicians. On the other hand, Commodus is so enraged that his father would not just give him the keys to the kingdom, that he actually kills him. And he's like, "Father, you must not love me because you're not giving me what I want." I mean, Commodus even admits that he has no traits that make him capable to lead Rome. And yet he's like, "If you don't give me this, then you don't love me, Dad." Oh my gosh, does that sound like every SJW YouTube compilation fail video ever? Oh, I want this, so it's your fault. It's your fault. Brothers, what we do in life can echo in eternity. Things given are always forgotten. No one cares about the accomplishments of a handout. Transcendent men of the past are remembered because of the reputation and accomplishments they earned. Respect from the sacrifices they make, and the legend and the lore from the lives that they lived. Be like Maximus in Washington. Not a social justice warrior, who is only a warrior in their own imagination, who in a real fight would have to stab you in the back and still lose because of the limp-wristed pansy they really are. Gladiator is an awesome movie. Go check it out. It's still great to this day. I'm Ben Davies. This is Pure Hollywood. and another fantastic news, you can now download the Rebel app and take me with you wherever you go to get exclusive content in the entire Rebel lineup.